Welcome to Color Country Politics, where we discuss all the important political issues facing Iron County, Utah. Our guests include elected officials and community leaders in or representing Iron County. This is episode 73, Candidate Forum 2021, Mark Mumford, Cedar City Council.
Early there. Hey everybody, welcome back to Color Country Politics. We're still in election season, yay! We are here with somebody that is sort of new to the political arena. We've got Mark Mumford with us today. I am Jenny Hendricks, along with my co-host,
Jesse Harris.
Thanks for joining us. And we are going to jump in with Mark Mumford, who is running for Cedar City Council. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So you are sort of a new face. Let's get everybody familiar with you. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I grew up in a small town in Idaho. Met my wife at BYU, and we moved to Cedar City in 2004. I work for Iron County School District in the technology department. I actually started as a teacher and did that for almost 8.5 years, and I'm in technology now. So I really enjoy living in Cedar City. It's a great place. Reminds me a lot of where I grew up. It's a little bigger than the small town I grew up in, quite a bit bigger actually, but it's good. I'm running for office basically because I enjoyed judging my daughter's debate tournaments. I had such a fun time doing that, and I thought it was such a great thing. And I thought, maybe I should try this out myself. And as you say, I'm new to this, and I just thought, I could hum and haw around this and kind of watch for a while. But I thought the best way to get to learn how to do something is to try it. And I figured that there really wasn't anything to lose, so I decided to go ahead and try it. That's
great. So, in your opinion, what do you think the city needs to improve?
Well, probably the biggest issue that we have is water, and it's kind of it's one of those sort of in the closet under the bed kind of things. You think about it once in a while, and it's a problem. You look under the bed and there are dust bunnies all over the place, and it's filthy. But then you can ignore it. You can walk away, and I think that's how it is. The aquifer keeps dropping, and the issue of water rights is actually a completely separate thing, because the people who have the rights, for the most part, are using them, but we're using too much. And so across the board, from agriculture to municipal and everything in between. So that's a really difficult issue. As far as the rest of the city, I think things are going pretty well. I've spent some time in city council meeting and watching city council meeting on YouTube when I couldn't make it in person, and there's a lot of other interesting issues regarding roads and sewers and building and things like that. But when you drive down Main Street, things look pretty good. It's really not too bad. So there are other issues, the issues of homelessness and other problems too. But for the most part, it's a really nice place to live.
Well, let's talk about some of those other issues. We already did that. We just talked about what does the city need to improve. Sorry. What do you think the city is doing well?
I think the city's doing well in just about every category. The city services work well. Water and sewer is working well. It's just, of course, that we're using too much water. The public safety is great. I don't feel in danger in Cedar City. I think the police force is doing a really good job. It's good. I think we're having a problem with the cost of housing right now. We've got a lot of people who need housing. When I and my family moved to Cedar in 2004, I was hired right toward the beginning of school. I just had a few days to get ready, and we looked for a place we could just rent, and we actually had to engage a realtor just to find some place to rent, and which was very strange. I'd never lived in any place where it was hard to find a place to rent. This is kind of a continual problem in Cedar City. It's not always a problem, but every once in a while it comes up. It's sort of cyclical. There's more people here than the amount of housing we have. I was at a meeting just a week or two ago where a woman talked about how she had recently moved from California. And we usually think of people moving from California as selling multi-million-dollar houses and coming here with a lot of money and causing gentrification. But her situation was different. She was retired and had just enough money to get along, but not enough money to afford housing. And so she was living in an RV and doing okay. But that's not really all that great. Living in an RV is a kind of existence. It's not quite homelessness, although under certain definitions it would be. So there's just a need for more housing here, and so there's different things we can do to make that happen. But anyway.
Yeah, I've certainly seen that crunch there. My mom's looking at moving here, being, one of the many people who's discovered how great the community is.
That's right.
And she found out very fast that, there's not a whole lot to choose from right now.
Yeah, it's just interesting how the cycles of the economy go and everything. I wish the city would be more proactive about making sure that we have enough housing, and so instead of reactive, it's kind of trying to do something after there's a problem. But there may be a level of sophistication there with regard to predicting things that, I don't know. I mean, one of the issues right now is that the city recently changed the ordinance so that the developers have to acquire water rights and bring them, rather than purchasing them from the city and then paying a fee. And so that's really caused a lot of heartburn in the developer community, because they have a hard time doing that, and it's difficult to find good water rights, the pre-1934 ones that are required now by the state. And so it's that's a real challenge, but I think we could make some changes there to improve that situation. I think that would help a lot.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in one of the few elevators in our town with a voter, and you've got that elevator ride to pitch them on why they should pick you for city council. What are you going to tell them so they want to hear more?
I think I would tell them that my my issue, I guess, in running is that I'd like to see more block parties. In the times in which we live, there's for various reasons there seems to be a lot of sort of partisan bickering, and it's a bit of a mystery to me, because we live in great times. We're not in the middle of a war. We have various crises at different places of flooding and droughts and things like that, but those are always going on. But for the most part, things are great. It's good, and so I don't know why we're arguing so much. I think Cedar City could use, as it gets bigger, I think we need to continue to know each other. We need to continue to get to know each other. And I feel like I don't know my neighbors. This may come as a surprise, but I'm actually an introvert. Left to my own devices, I'd probably just spend time reading books or something like that. And so I don't get out much. And I feel like I need an excuse to get out to know people. And so I think if there's something the city could do to encourage more engagement between neighbors and just across the community in general, I think that would be great, because it's a great place. It's easy to look at people without engaging with them and assume the worst. And once we get to know each other, it's great. In fact, just recently I had our neighbors changed. The ones we had moved out, and we got some new ones. And I didn't know what to think at first. Again, I just sort of, human nature, I just sort of assumed the worst. And then we finally baked some cookies and took him over to meet our new neighbor. And he was awesome. He's a great guy, and just so wonderful. And I was, that just reinforced again how, we just need to engage with each other. And I think that would be a good thing.
I like that. So what else do you want voters to know about you, about your campaign, about, sort of your goals if you were elected?
I think I'd like voters to know that I'm a friendly person, and I like to talk things out. I enjoy trying to figure out tricky issues. And sometimes those tricky issues are because you have two sides to a problem and two different viewpoints, and you need to come up with a sort of like King Solomon, try to come up with a solution that will satisfy both to some degree. You can't please all the people all the time, as Abraham Lincoln said. But I enjoy tackling difficult problems. I guess I'm easily bored. Maybe that's why I work in technology. I do a lot of computer programming, and so I encounter things like that. And it's amazing how when you're in the midst of a problem, it feels so terrible, and you think, oh no, I can't do this. I'm not going to make it. What am I going to do? I'm such a fake. And then then you sit back for a little bit, or maybe I go to lunch or go home for the night, and then the next day I've got another idea or 2 or 3 ideas, and I try it, and eventually I get it. I figure it out, and that is so awesome. That is just the greatest, when you figure out a difficult problem and you did it, and it's awesome. And I enjoy doing that. I like tackling difficult issues, and I think that the city council has a lot of difficult issues to do that. And I like talking with other people. I love communicating. I think it's interesting to discuss things, just about anything. There's very few issues that I wouldn't want to talk about. And so those, particularly the most difficult ones, issues like homelessness and things like that we need to talk about. People think of those as taboo subjects, but we need to talk about them. We really have to. So yeah.
Well, that's part of being a good and healthy community, is having those conversations. I agree.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Mark Mumford, I sure appreciate you coming on with us today on
Thank you.
Politics. So we are going to wrap it up now. I am Jenny Hendricks, along with
Jesse Harris.
And we will see you next time. Thanks for you're going to edit that out, right?
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. I'll see you soon.
You've been listening to Color Country Politics, a production in cooperation with Utah Politico Hub and graciously sponsored by Century 21 Prestige Realty at 121 North Main Street, Cedar City. Special thanks to Amoeba Crew for use of their song Background Indie Rock, licensed under Creative Commons. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever fine podcasts are found. Also, check out our YouTube channel where we post video of our interviews. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our website at www.colorcountrypolitics.com.